வாக்குண்டா நல்ல மனமுண்ட வாக்குண்ட நல்ல மனமுண்ட
Green Factor presents Liver. All-in-one air sterilizer, purifier and deodorizer. With 4-step air filtration technology. Pre-filter that removes harmful pollutants. HEPA filter blocks microns up to 0.3. Multiple UV tubes, sterilizes to kill dangerous germs, bacteria, and molds. Activated carbon filter eliminates smoke and bad odor. Certified by accredited testing labs. Helping you to get back to life. Ask for a demo today.
Namaskaram. This is Sandhya Shankar bringing you Acharya Chat. This program is brought to you by Green Factor Liver. Experience the cleanest and freshest air with Green Factor Liver. This is an all-in-one air deodorizer, purifier and sterilizer, which has been tested by very reputed labs for their effectiveness and efficiency. Namaskaram. This is Sandhya Shankar bringing you Acharya Chat. This week, we have with us none other than Gayathri.
Namaskaram.
Welcome.
So happy to be here.
Absolutely. So, GV, I think everybody calls you that. So, GV, when I had when I heard that I will be speaking to you and you're going to come on our chat show, I was thinking that கரும்புத்துங்கிறதுக்கு கூலியே வேண்டாம். It was
So nice of you.
one of my personal favorite singers, and we're going to get to speak to her and know more about her. So let's begin at the very beginning. How did your this seems to be the standard question I'm asking people, but it's important to know that how really your interest in music began. Are you your first generation in your family, or there are somebody who have been musicians before you?
I'm a first generation musician.
Okay.
And my father had decided that as soon as I was born that I should sing or play the veena. He was very fond of the veena at that time. So as you all know, Srimati Veena Gayathri, she was so famous at that time. You know, she was a child artist who was a genius, and so I was named after Gayathri Amma.
Oh,
I'm very proud of that, and I keep telling that everywhere. I was named after her, and so my father's journey had begun immediately, though I was not at all keen in the beginning. He put me under a very great guru called Lakshmanan Vadiyar when I was only 6.5 years old, and he taught me for a year and a half till unfortunately he passed away because of a heart attack. He was a very meticulous teacher, and I remember he did the Bala Padam for me, and then from there he went on to start teaching me Varnams, and I still have his book which he has meticulously written some notations for me in that.
Handwritten, you know?
Handwritten notations. And we used to call him Kodavadiyar at home because Periya Kodai எடுத்துன்னு வருவார், and every time he wanted to threaten me, he lift the Kodai like that. The umbrella would come up, and then I would get all shaken. But it was, he was only trying to be strict so that I could learn. Unfortunately, I couldn't pursue with him, and so I was under Srimati Rajalakshmi, madam. She's in Nandanam. Even today she keeps giving me her good wishes all the time. Every time I go on stage, I have her good wishes, and she's the one who taught me all little songs. I know அந்த காலத்துல சுத்தானந்த பாரதியார் பாடல்,
Yes.
அந்த மாதிரி எவ்வளவோ பாடல்கள் which became family songs. Everybody in my family had learned those songs by heart. So all my mamas, chittis, they all sing that even today. So that's how she brought the interest in me, you know, by teaching me all those little songs.
Yes, otherwise, I think that's a very interesting way to teach. Absolutely. Because to keep the interest of the child,
Yeah,
you know,
very,
rather
very
than saturating them with very, very heavy
that
theory.
was very important. That period, just to be under her was so much fun. And then when she couldn't come over and teach, I was put under Srimati Padma Veeraraghavan. She happened to be my brother's teacher in school. She was teaching music in school. My brother also incidentally sings, though he never sat down to learn any lessons. அவன் தானா ஸ்வயம்பூ மாதிரி ராகவெல்லாம் பாடுவான்.
Is he performing?
He does. He's in a very demanding job, so he's not able to. Had he pursued, he might have done well. So, but he sings well.
Is he older to you or younger?
He's younger to me. He's in band.
So your father had the same ambition for him?
No.
Strange, isn't it?
No, very strange. Even I had different ambitions for each other. I wanted him to get into IIT and typical that kind of. But I was even at that time I was not very very keen about learning music very seriously and all. But I came under Padma Veeraraghavan Mami, who is Sri Kevian Palghat Sri Kevi Narayan Swami's disciple, and she used to take me to classes. And the minute I heard KVN Mama's music, everything about my music changed. I wanted to just be a great Rasika. I wanted to keep listening to him all the time. And slowly that changed my perspective about how I should practice, how I should deliver my music. Just listening to him, there was a period of so many years where I wouldn't miss a single concert of Mama's. I would go and listen everywhere. So that was a turning point.
That is the difference between a mere teacher or a mere singer and somebody who actually inspires you.
Absolutely. Padma Viraghavan Mami was like that. You know, even if you ask her, I remember there was a beetle leaf, Vetala, and I remember asking her, இது வந்து எப்படி வரும் எங்கேந்து வரும் and she didn't say செடியிலேந்து வரும். She took me to a farm to show me a beetle farm. I still remember that Uppliyappan Kovil. She took me. I used to go all holidays to her house in Uppliyappan Kovil. There she hired a car, took me to a farm to show me a beetle leaf.
What kind of commitment they had and
Absolutely.
involvement with their students.
Absolutely.
So after Padma Viraraghavan,
I
how
learned
did
under
your journey?
A. Sundareshan Mama, and
Wonderful.
right up to his demise, we were all with him. A whole set of my friends we learned from Sri Sundareshan Mama for many years.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
your friends are performing?
Yeah, many of them. We have Savita Sriram, Basmati Desikan. We have many of them performing, and I've learned from him for many years. Such a committed and absolutely dedicated teacher. And then I came under Sri P.S. Narayan Swami after his demise. Yeah.
I think your journey has been a very interesting, and I think you'll agree with me. You're fortunate that you've
Yes, sir.
been associated with such great.
Yes, because I was influenced by the Arya Kudi Bani, and then I came under Sundaresh Mama, where the Alatur Bani I could pick up a little bit, and then again back to Shamangudi Mama Bani. So I'm very fortunate to be exposed.
Today, I think GV, you have created a style of your own. Of course, with all these influences, but they have been your inspiration and taking it from there. Among all this, is there any special anecdote that you could remember from your early years? Did you have this opportunity to perform in schools and colleges when you were studying?
I studied in a convent, so there was not much of exposure as far as Carnatic music goes in convent. But at that
What school
period,
was this?
Holy Angels.
Okay.
Yeah. Though I was exposed to a lot of Western choir, and I used to sing along with the piano. I used to sing soprano in school. So that was a beautiful journey in itself. But I used to go for a lot of competitions in those periods. And if you ask my peers, they will tell you that that was the way we were forced to learn compositions. So many of us in that period, we would go from one competition to the other. Indian Fine Arts. The Indian Fine Arts had some 30 composers
So who nominated you for these competitions?
No, we would just
You
go.
were
You know, our
self-driven?
teachers would send us, and for that specifically, so it would be like 5 compositions of Maharaja Swati Karnal. If it was Music Academy competition, then there would be 10 compositions that had to be learnt. So it was a very important period for us to learn and by heart all those compositions. And we used to hop from one sabha to the other for these compositions.
So you would have had very little time between studies and music.
Yes, but music took priority very quickly in my life.
Absolutely, yeah. So tell me, with all these banis you were talking about, was it difficult to shift from one bani to the other?
It was
Of course, the
not-
grammar is the same, and the music is music has got, it's got its own science, but they have their different ways of singing. And so did you find it difficult?
No, not at all. I think there was a connection and a synergy between all these banis because they are all very classically, traditionally rooted banis. So I guess that is what has led me to shape my music in this way. I sing traditional classical music mostly. So I guess that is what has led me to where I am now. All the synergy between these banis and what they encompass as a
You put
total.
it very well. So, just like you told about Padma Mami taking you all the way to the farm to just show you how beetle leaf is grown, you must be having some very special memories of each of these teachers.
Yes.
Like Sundareshan Mama and PSN Mama. And of course, your very, very first teacher who came with the umbrella.
Lakshmanan Vadyar, I don't know. I'm sure he's blessing me even today. Very sad that I couldn't finish that process with him because from his books I can see what a systematic teacher he had been. And of course, Sundareshan Mama. One thing about Sundareshan sir is his absolute dedication and his devotion towards the composers. trinity, especially the trinity of music. So if it was, for instance, he was always notating all rare compositions, and he was in close association with his peers like Sri T.M. Tyagarajan, Sri T.M.T. Mama, and PSN sir. They would all work together, relentlessly bringing out rare compositions, and offer all these different ahandams. We had Tyagaraja Swami Agandam everywhere. Every time Sundaresh Mama and PSN Mama, TMT Mama would be called last to sing, because there was no repetition allowed. And even if the Agandam went on for 3 days, there would still be compositions that were not sung by others that they could sing on the spot. So that much hard work they have done towards
So much wealth they've left behind for us.
Absolutely.
I don't know how we can even repay all this to them. Jivi, tell me, you have received so many awards, and I mean the list is quite a long one. So Isai Peroli, Sangeeta Shironmani, which of this has been the closest to your heart?
The very first time I got an award was in the name of Srimati M.S. Subbalakshmi. So, and then of course Meenakshi award from Sadguru Samajam Madurai was also in her name. It was Srimati M.S. Amma award. He's like a devata in my life, so I treasure that.
Everybody who has had a interest in knowing the way you sing and the way you perform, and I have attended your concerts, I've seen that a lot of requests come for you for MSMR's songs. You must be feeling very, very special to carry that if you call it a bani, or if her style or her is so why don't you our viewers would like to hear you sing one of MSMR's.
Certainly. Akhilandeshwari Rakshama Akhilandeshwari Rakshama Amagama Sampradaya Nipune Shri Akhilandeshwari Rakshama
Beautiful, Gayathri. Really beautiful. This happens to be coincidentally one of my favorite songs, and it's so meditative.
It is. It is. Just like her music.
See, it is so soothing, and
Absolutely.
even her entire presence.
Absolutely. In fact, that's what I say. She doesn't need any of us to listen to her music, because the gods are listening to her all the time. You go to Badrikashrama at 3 a.m., you will hear MS Amma's voice. That was one scintillating moment in my life. When we entered Badrikashrama, her voice was there. And then that
What were they playing?
they were playing the Sahasnama at 3 a.m. in the morning. Amma's Vishnu Sahasnama. And then you hear her in Tirupati all the time. In Rameshwaram, you go, we hear the Rameshwara Suprabhata. That's why
In fact, every household.
somebody's listening to her every moment in the
Yeah,
world.
true. Somebody's listening to her at every point of time.
And I'm sure that's going to be there for generations to come.
Gayathri, I understand that there was a small break in your musical career
Yeah.
for about 8 years. How is it that you made such a fantastic comeback?
It's all thanks to my Rasikas. First of
No,
all, the way they
incidentally,
accepted me.
I leave it to you, but this is something not everybody can make a comeback of such a kind. So, how did it even happen?
it was not that anybody prevented me from singing or nothing
No,
like that, but
I'm
I was
sure.
just after my wedding, we were not in Chennai, and you know how Chennai is about music, and
yeah.
it's throbbing with music. And when you're out of here and you don't have enough support system at that
Where
age,
were you?
we were down south. We were in Chidambaram, Madurai, and Tirunelveli. So my children, and it was a bit overwhelming. I didn't think I could pursue it to the extent that I wanted to. It was like I couldn't practice enough and things like that. So I did have to take a break, but it was thanks to many people, including Krishnagana Sabha, Yagniraman Mama, who pulled me out of that, uh, in taking away that the break that had taken. He pulled me out of that, and he said I should be performing again, Hamsadwani Ramachandran sir. And I can never forget the role that Sri S.V. Krishnan of Nadendam played. He was the one who kept on giving me opportunities so that I would prepare and come. That was very important at that point of time, with the children and with the family. Unless you had a target, preparation was, everybody's focus would be, okay, she has a consult, let her sit and prepare. So I was fortunate enough to have all these people in my life, and of course all the great Rasikas. I have to thank them for accepting me the way they did. And then all the other sabhas, including Bharti Vidya Bhavan, Ramaswamy uncle, everybody made sure that I made a comeback. And K.S. Mahadevan Mama, I can never forget him. Journalist K.S. Mahadevan. Even he was so much keen that I should make it back, and he wrote about me and made people aware of me. I should never forget all these people.
In fact, I think we Rasikas also owe a lot to them for having brought you back.
Thank you.
We would have lost a very fine singer. Of course, family, I would maintain that it comes first.
Yes, it does.
But as you said, unless you have a plan or a target or a schedule or something in place,
Especially women. I have to put that there.
people, and even we don't take ourselves seriously.
Yeah,
We need to take ourselves seriously, and then if everybody starts adhering to that and supporting you.
seriously, especially women. I would say that when a woman comes out and does something in society, there is a lot of hard work behind that, and also a lot of people who come together for her to get to
When
do
they
that.
know that you're committed,
Yes.
I think universe just falls in place and they support. So your support system at home is very good.
It is fantastic. That is why I was able to make it. Is very important when, especially a performer in the performer field, it's very important that you have a certain support system in place. Otherwise,
So your father must be very happy that you.
he is.
So your performance was started post-marriage, Gayatri, or even
I
before marriage?
started, I was already performing, and when I took a break, and I had already sung even during the December season and all. But of course, so many opportunities were not there at that time, especially for youngsters.
Yes.
And then it was YACM, Youth Association for Classical Music, of which I was a treasurer for some time. So they played a very important role in bringing out all these young artists and making sure they perform. So by the time I came back, the field was different. There was enough space for youngsters to sing. And so
I think you're one of the very, you put it across very humbly. There's place for everybody.
there is hard work,
Provided
always.
hard work
Yes.
and talent. And
God's grace,
God's
because
grace.
voice should have stabilized over all these years. By God's grace, my guru's grace, I was able to maintain that voice. That was important.
So your children sing.
They don't. They are great rasikas. They have Janaranjani and Nalina Kanti and all these ragas in their laptops when they are working. They both learned a bit of violin, but they are not musicians.
Okay, they're not performing musicians. Okay. I think your brother and you have ever performed together?
Yeah, we have.
Okay, that's
Some of my
interesting.
very first
That's very
series were
interesting.
with my brother, and he would play the Shruti Poti next to me, and we have lots of pictures like that in the family.
So this comeback when you made, your father especially would have been happy, your gurus would have been happy.
Yeah.
So did it require a lot of extraordinary practice? I know everybody needs to practice. There is no substitute for that.
Yes.
But did it require anything more than that?
It did. It did, because I had lost a lot of time and steam by that time. The recording industry had taken off when I was not here. So I missed that growth in the recording industry at that entire juncture. I missed. And after that, it was my mother. I should thank her so much. She used to come every time to replace me with the kids, and I used to come by train, perform, get back the same night. It was a lot of hard work from the entire family to make sure. And then when we got back to Chennai, of course, then things became easier. More support system and hub of music.
And also support system, and also Chennai is so vibrant with music.
It is. It is.
There's endless
Absolutely.
opportunities, endless, and the Rasikas are so,
Yes.
they're glutton for good music.
Yeah, I would say that. Of course, there are great Rasikas across the globe. And Chennai, yes, of course, we have great Rasikas here too.
Wonderful. So, Gayatri, GV, tell me about your any special anecdote or memory you have of Sundareshan.
Sundareshan, Mama.
Because you would have had a one-to-one relationship with him.
Yeah. Sundareshan Mama's dedication and his commitment towards the composers, that is something that I've seen one-to-one. There have been episodes when he has just sat and started notating a song, and tears would be streaming down his eyes. And his notations were such that once he kept pen on paper, there was not a single correction that was required. Such beautiful handwriting. We have in fact published some of his works with that handwriting, with his original handwriting. And that is one thing about him, for instance, I will give you an example. There's a Shyama Sastry, especially, was his favorite. Devi ni pada sarasamule Devi ni pada sarasamule. When he was writing this, it is when then he realized that Devi, Ni, Pa, Da, Sa, everything was a Swarakshara. So Shyama Sastry was known for his Swaraksharas, but to bring that right there immediately and bring the ragam in the Swarakshara, Pa, Da, Sa, Ra, Sa, Kambodi arrives there. So when he started notating things like this, we would see that he would become so emotional. Just the music and the lyrics, everything would combine him to make him very emotional. In fact, there was one Shyama Sastry concert that I sang with him. He couldn't sing. Beyond 2 songs, his eyes were streaming with tears, and he kept saying, "You sing, you sing." So that was the kind of commitment.
Talking about Shyama Sastry, before we move on to PSN Mama, I had an opportunity of watching your play, The Trinity. So, where is this the only play that you have acted in?
I've done a few mono acting stuff in school, but
Yeah.
this is my first professional
And it
experience.
was very interesting because they played out that Shyama Sastri's life with the Trinity by Madras players.
Yes.
And they had all the Trinity, all the 3 people, legends, life stories over there
Yeah.
as a capsule.
Yeah.
And you come as Lalita, the
Yeah.
wife of Shyama Sastry. How saral and how wonderful that experience. Would you like to share anything about acting as Lalita and getting an opportunity to sing as Lalita? Shyama Sastri's compositions, right?
Yes. Yes.
That was very interesting because they could have got somebody to act as Shyama Sastry, but you were the only woman
Yeah.
musician,
Yeah.
recognized musician over there. And they put it across and it was written as if it was through her eyes.
Yes, it was. When Sri P.C. Ramakrishna of Madras Players approached us whether I could play the role of Lalita, Shyama Sastri's wife, it was my husband who instantly accepted. And he said that I should not miss this opportunity. And I thank him for that because I was skeptical in the beginning. And I would say that it's a beautiful story by Srimati Sita Ravi, the illustrious granddaughter of Sri Kalki Krishnamurti.
Yes.
And the way she has written the stories is Muthuswami Dikshitar through the eyes of his disciples. And as you all know, Dikshitar was enacted by the great legendary musician Sri Vijay Shiva. And Dr. Sundar, he played the role of Tyagaraja Swami. Whereas the role of Lalita is a little different. In Tyagaraja Swami, Aryamba acts as Sitama, and she brings about many questions she asks her father, Tyagaraja Swami, to bring about his why he composed a certain composition in a certain way and things like that. Whereas in the story of Shyama Sastri, the entire story is through the lens of Lalita, the fictitious name, of course, of Shyama Sastri's wife.
Oh, it's not the
No,
real.
Lalita is not his original name.
Any idea what his
I
wife's
think it
name?
was Srivitra.
Okay.
Yeah, I also have to check on that. We have to probably ask one of their family.
Yeah.
So Lalita, as Shyama Sastri's wife, it probably one of her names was Lalita, because Lalita is a one very significant word he uses in
He
so
uses
many
it often,
compositions,
yeah.
and he has composed in the Raga Lalita. So here, Lalita, she talks about her husband and why his compositions are so phenomenally great. And though he is always at the temple and he's doing his puja and he's composing,
The phone.
yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
So though he's in the temple constantly and he's doing his puja and to the point of ignoring her, and he loses himself in a trance all the time, there is a neighbor who comes and she tries to instigate her and keeps telling her, look, he's ignoring you and all that. It's a lovely relationship between her and Dharmaka, where she explains why she doesn't mind waiting for somebody as great as Shyama Sastri and what makes him so great, why she thinks his compositions are so phenomenal. And so everything through the eyes of Lalita.
So, acting as Lalita, looking at Shyama Sastri, the composer, and the bhakti he had for Bangaru.
Yeah, Kamakshi.
All this, did it give you a more wholesome feeling when you sang?
I would really
Not everybody
say
gets this
that.
opportunity to
No,
enact. I would urge everybody to watch this.
No, I'm so fortunate that I was part of Trinity, and I'm part of the Trinity family, which is such a wonderful family. We have such a great relationship, all of us. Even now it's like it's part of my own family. And in fact, when I acted as Lalita, PC Ramakrishna sir told me that he envisaged Lalita as a very soft and calm person. Somebody who would not get angry at the drop of a hat. Somebody who was very meditative and very yogic. And when you see her life, you would certainly say that that is true. Because
I think he got his person.
no, there were times when I would say, no, Dharmaka, and then he would correct me. He'd say, no, Lalita cannot talk like that. Lalita is too soft. You would have to say, no, Dharmaka. The way he brought out that Lalita in me was, it was a great thing for me to watch that Lalita come out of me.
In fact, when I watched the play, I couldn't believe that. I mean, you're not just not a musician, but you enacted it so well. You have done so many. So much work with artists from the Hindustani genre.
Yeah.
Like in the sense of Jugalbandi. How was that experience?
Yeah, that was fantastic. Before that, I would just like to tell you one more thing about Trinity is that we have done a production now.
Yes.
Virtual production, which is going to go global this week, the coming week. Many organizations are going to be premiering it, and I would urge everybody to watch Trinity and tell your friends to watch it, because I think the stories are really, really very inspiring, and a lot of hard work has gone behind bringing this production to you.
Yes, it was a very, I think, a remarkable
You wrote
production.
so beautifully about that,
Thank you.
Sandhya ji. We must thank you for that one. Yeah, about the Jugalbandis, I was very fortunate that the first time I ever sang with another genre was I sang with Srimati Lakshmi Shankar.
Oh.
So that was a great experience. She was already 80 by then, and she was very skeptical about singing the concert. So I stayed with her about 10 days. I learned a little bit from her, and then finally we performed together. So it was a surreal experience for me, really.
Absolutely. I think it was very well received also.
It was. Yeah.
Because that's what I heard.
It happened in San Diego.
Yeah, that's why we couldn't attend. Talking about your, your global performances, particularly in Latvia. Uh, how did you find the people responding there? What is their? I mean, this must be so different for them. So, did you have only the Indians coming for the performance, or how did?
In Latvia, it was a completely European audience who came in. And as you know, it's a small country. We sang in the Adliusm festival. It means the inner light. And so it was all about the meditative quality of music. Though we sang a Alapana, we sang a Ragam Tanam Pallavi, we had a Tanyavartanam, we had the Swara segment, we had everything. But we tried to make everything very meditative. And we didn't explain anything, there was nothing, no communication in language between me and the audience. There was somebody who spoke in Latvia just to give a small synopsis, and then we just began the concert. Initially there were about 200 people sitting in chairs, but then about 50 or 60 of them got up from their chairs, came and sat in the ground in front of the stage, many of them in Padmasana. Yeah, and they just started meditating. It was one experience that Manoj Shiva and Mysore Shrikant had come with me, and they also felt that experience. It was a very elevating experience singing that concert.
And must be very satisfying also.
Absolutely. Really.
So music has got no language barriers or
Seriously.
geographical barriers. TV.
Especially our music, because it connects with the soul immediately. I would say that, in fact, I've blogged about this, that one does not have to know Carnatic music or come to know about the intricacies in Carnatic music to appreciate Carnatic music. I think just shutting the eyes, being meditative, they can absorb Carnatic music and be elevated.
I'm in complete agreement with you, because I feel, I used to always tell my boys that this music is for the soul, and Western music is for the feet. But having said that, one need not know the nuances or the the grammar of Carnatic music, still enjoy it. You have taken an extra effort, especially during, I think it was during the lockdown.
It was during.
To bring something called ACG with GV for us.
Yes.
So, how did this idea germinate, and what were you really trying to convey? I watched some of them. It was very nice.
We did a Carnatic journey, so we called it ACJ with GV, and we did a series of productions during the lockdown, where we started right from the basics, right from Shruti up to what Ragam Tanam Pallavi is, and what is the component of a Ragam Tanam Pallavi. I was very fortunate that I had a lovely team with me, and once the idea germinated in my head, I had this team who came together, and they were happily participating every week to get every episode ready. It is there in my YouTube channel in Gayathri.
How many episodes?
Venkataraghavan. We have done close to 15 episodes.
One time. And you intend giving us some more of this?
Actually, what we have done is from Shruti up to Ragam Tanam Pallavi. This talks about most of the basics and a little more than basics.
Okay.
The reason we did this one was that we wanted to reach out to all the parents of these little children who are learning music. Many of them think it is so difficult and they give it up halfway. So there can we give them all the basics that are necessary for them to understand where to search for what their guru is trying to teach them. And secondly, we wanted everything in the same place, so that the search is complete. When they enter ACJ, they should be able to understand a little bit of all these aspects and move on to becoming better listeners or better students. So
absolutely, I think it's a wonderful gift that you have given them. It would benefit, and it's going to be on the YouTube, so I mean, it's available for everybody.
Yes.
Similarly, I think there is something called Lyric Scope that you are. So tell our viewers what.
Lyric Scope, again, this is what we thought was we should try to bring. There are so many compositions which, when we analyze, they throw a totally different light to how we would have heard them. Simple compositions that we come across in our life, even a Geetam, sometimes when we analyze it, they could have a very, very deep meaning, or they could have a fun meaning. So there are so many things that a composer has tried to embed in each of the compositions. So we are trying to bring out, some of them are fun stuff, some of them are serious, but we are trying to bring the focus onto the lyrics and what the composer might have intended in these compositions. So we are calling that lyric scope, and we have come out with 2 compositions already.
Awesome, because often what happens is, of course, we enjoy the music, we are in sync with it, but in-depth,
Yeah.
viewing of the lyrics is not often brought to the front.
Yeah, for instance, we started with Bantu Riti, where Tyagaraja Swami is actually, it's like a job application. Like he says, hey Rama, I can be your in your army, and I have a badge. I have a badge, which it's like a Rama Bhakta badge. Then I have a sword, the sword. This is Ramanama is my sword. So it's so cute the way he has talked about this. It's like an eager child who wants to be under Rama's service all the time. So there is so many compositions like this that a few of them we hope to touch on.
You're already so animated. I think you have an actor in you, TV. So, your husband has his profession is ophthalmologist, I understand.
Yeah.
So, he has been very supportive of your career,
Certainly.
and so also your children. So, which would be his favorite song?
My husband's is like Bhavayami Gopala Palam. Okay.
I hope he's watching the program between his schedule. But it will also be there on our Facebook and YouTube. So
I'll get it. Niratakara kalita navanitam. Niratakara kalita navanitam. Brahmadi Suranikara Pavana Shobhita Padam. Niratakara Kalita Navanitam. Brahmadi Suranikara Pavana Shobhita Padam.
beautiful, TV.
Bhavayami Gopala Balam.
Beautiful. Another MSM. We have a photo round for you,
Okay.
and we're just having a small collection of photographs.
Okay.
You should be able to tell us when it was taken.
This is fun stuff.
Yes, yes. Meantime, what is the message you would like to give aspiring students?
I would say that classical music certainly requires a lot of hard work, but if they are dedicated, especially if they are able to do their akaram every day, if they are vocalists and if they are instrumentalists, they should do their varisays every day. Doing varisays it's like learning your alphabets, and once you learn your alphabets, you're able to write a sentence, right? In the same way, the akaram trains the voice to learn more things, to learn nuanced things. So it's very important. So I think practice is very important, and for us to keep at least 2 hours every day, even if you have a busy schedule for music. And aspiring Carnatic music students, I would suggest they have Carnatic music in their cells all the time, and for some period of time, if they stop listening to other film music and other kind of genres, and if they can listen to devotional and Carnatic and classical music, at least Hindustani and other classical stuff, if they listen, their mind will be more oriented towards accepting these things easily.
It's very interesting. You kind of,
Yeah,
create that kind of
you have to create
mindset.
that ambience in your mind for you to absorb these things for some time. It's very
And
important.
you are the right person to tell them how, because you've made such a wonderful, I wouldn't say comeback also. It's a very brave step, and highly laudable.
No, I'm so thankful to everybody for that.
Let's have these photographs.
Bharati Vidya Bhavan with
Yes.
one of my great friends, Charmati Raghuraman and Sri K.V. Prasad ji with Krishna on the betam.
Bharati Vidya Bhavan has brought, very, very nice programs, and
Absolutely.
they've been
Oh.
there for.
In fact, this December when there was a total lockdown, which was the first kacheri we had with an audience.
Yes.
It was with huge screens. In fact, he made it like one open air theater where everybody could watch. It was,
I had come.
I am so thankful that.
Yes, I had come despite it being in Kilpauk.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have wanted
a
to
brave
make
step.
very few. I mean, very hardly a handful of concerts.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Let's see the next photograph.
This is the concert from Latvia.
The one
Yeah.
we spoke about.
You can see how they are seated down on the floor.
Yes,
Some
and
of
they
them.
have created a very nice background for it.
Yeah, it was in a cathedral actually.
And
Actually, these cathedrals, when you sing, I've sung in many of them in across the world.
Yes,
They have a certain meditative quality about them. Certainly, yes.
the cathedrals.
Yes. Many of them are cathedrals where we sing. Yes.
Very interesting,
Yeah.
Gayathri. I was not aware of this.
Yeah. They have an innate acoustic about them.
And there is, I mean, audience is receptive also.
Yes, absolutely. This is from Israel.
Wow.
Yeah, when we started, it was actually in a small open air auditorium, but it had started raining by the time we started the concert. We had just finished the mic test for 1 hour, and we sang the first piece, and it started raining. So all of us had to run into a cavern that was close by. It was meant for selling goods during
Okay.
the concert. So that is the cavern that we are all sitting in, and everybody just surrounded us, and we sang for them. That again was a very, very interesting experience because again we sang only classical music. We sang Shankarabharanam Ragam Tanam Pallavi, if I remember.
And all those people there are actually not every one of them would be Carnatic.
No, it was
students.
primarily, it was 95% a European audience, except for the Indian embassy. It was a part of the ICCR concert. So only
Wonderful.
embassy people there. That was a concert with Lakshmi Shankarji. Yeah.
How much we can learn from this, such a senior artist.
Yeah. She taught me one of the bhajans that she had tuned. Oh,
Wow. Can you hum
yeah,
it?
certainly. दर्शन देना प्राण प्यारी नंदलाला मेरे नैनों की तारे दर्शन देना प्राण प्यारी.
So beautiful. I think this is your family.
No, this is KV and Mama's family.
Oh.
I'm sitting there down, holding on to one
That's
of his
why I thought it's your.
It's one of his grandchildren. She must be much older now. That is
Now, I think
that is Padma Mami with us, Padma Veeraraghavan.
those days, it was like an extended family, no?
It was certainly, yes. Yes, this was after one of Mama's awards in Padma Mami's house. This is the Bharati Vidya Bhavan award where they gave me the Lifetime Achievement Award along with Vishaka.
So both of you got the award?
Award. Yes, we got it together. Yes.
That's interesting. Nice, very nice.
This is Shanmukha Shiromani from Mumbai.
It must have been a very proud moment, especially for your father. Were your when you got these awards, were any of your gurus like PS and Mama?
When I got the Kalki award, I remember that my gurus were there, and they were also. Kalki has this a habit of calling the gurus and felicitating them.
So
Yes.
so nice.
Yeah. PS and Mama has been there for some of the awards, yes, and he's a remarkable person. One soul that was so affectionate with everyone, and He wanted everybody to do well. That is why he had so many students and they all are flourishing now. It was
Actually, never ever had an opportunity to interact with him or meet him on a personal basis. But every time people speak about him or I hear him,
yeah.
it's almost convincing me that நான் போயிருந்தா கூட நல்லா பாட
certainly. Certainly. கம்பன் வீட்டு கரியும் கவி கட்டு தரியும் கவி பாடுங்கிற மாதிரி பண்ணிருப்பாரு. Anybody. His affection will make anybody do wonders.
I know where this is. Let me tell you. From the Trinity?
Yes, this is from the Trinity. That's Lalita.
Very, very nice story. இது மரத்துக்கடியில
இது வந்து banyan concert. We did it in it's a more than 100-year-old banyan. This happened in Vedanta in Coimbatore.
Okay.
Yeah, one wing commander Mahalingamji, he arranged this concert, and so we sang with all the parrots was chirping around us, and it was so beautiful.
Open air, and
Great
it's not very late in the evening. It's little early.
It was early morning. Yeah.
Early morning.
Early morning.
Acha.
Yeah.
So you there was enough audience at early morning concert.
It was for the Vedanta people, the people in the colony. So
Wonderful.
yeah. This was a Jugalbandi with Srimati Aarti Anglekar.
Okay.
Yeah, we performed at least 4 concerts together.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So do you practice before these Jugalbandis?
Yeah, we did. We did have a rehearsal. Yes.
But how?
But primarily we decide the ragas.
Okay.
Something that is matching in both the genres. For instance, if you take Boop and then we have Mohanam and they can sing Boop. It has to have a matching. Somewhere it matches the ragas, and so we're able to Beam Blasi and Aberi.
சரி நம்மளுக்கு வந்து that's more of composition things. அவளது வந்து so much of alap and the drag goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
So you picked up a certain composition in say Mohanam.
Yeah.
And
it will be mostly Manodharma. We would take up a Ragam Tana Pallavi or something like that. A lot of times we would do an alap, they would do an alap. And then we will join together with one particular line where we would innovate. And there would be some compositions together. I learnt an abang with her, what I sang with her. She learnt a composition that I sang.
I think we should have such performances too.
Yeah.
You know?
This was thanks to the Bharati Sangeeta Utsavam that happens every year in Chennai, November.
Very nice.
Initially we sang there, then we sang in other places. That's with PSM Mama. And
it's a homely.
Yes, wonderful mom. Mommy is a wonderful person.
And when you put PSN Mama.
This is Rajalakshmi Mami. Even now she's in Nandanam and one great person.
She must be telling everybody, you know, my student. She
comes to concerts. And she's happy.
So there is a secret that we know that you enjoy hiking.
Yeah.
So managed to get this. Where was this?
This was in Kedar Tal. It is over the Gangotri.
So Kedar Tal is different from Kedarnath?
Yes. This is a proper hike that you reach the Kedar Tal. This is over Gangotri. It's in 15,800 feet above sea level.
Wow.
Over Gangotri. So it takes about 5 days for us to reach Kedar Tal. So it's all out in the open. We have tents and
your husband also enjoys hiking?
No, he can't take the cold. My son does. So yes, I have a small set of friends who like hiking, and so you
need to be very fit to do this, Gayathri. Correct?
Yes, but the other secret is that you can also work towards your fitness just after you decide your hike. So even if you're slack, then you have a hike coming in 3 months, and then you get back to your regime.
And what's that?
Lots of things you can do. For instance, you can climb up and down your stairs with a backpack which weighs 12 kgs at least 25 times. Or there are many exercises you can do just by yourself without a trainer. you can climb up and down the stairs like that. There are so many little exercises that you can incorporate even inside the house to prepare yourself
In
for a
case
trip.
I bravely decide to go on a hike, I should
Yeah.
reach out and ask all these
Absolutely.
regime tips.
Anytime. Anytime.
Okay. GB, now we have something called a rapid fire round. So it will be either one word or one quick question I'll ask, and
Okay.
you'll have to answer equally
Okay.
fast.
I'll try.
I mean, in the sense, that's the thing about rapid fire. No? So, okay. When you get angry, what do you do? Do you sing a
I
song?
don't get angry easily, but when I get angry, no, I certainly don't sing a song. I am sure everybody wishes I sing a song, but no, I don't. I don't shout a lot because that's detrimental to my throat. But I do show my anger.
Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
In the next 5 years, I hope I become more meditative, and I hope I'm able to produce more meditative music. But I certainly want to progress a lot in music.
Oh, okay. So when you're not with music, what else is your passion? Of course, hiking, but anything.
Then I'm not with music. I like to be with some of my plants and sing to them. And
Gardening also.
I not very much do. I used to, but then sometimes when they are not tended, then they wither away, and that's very sad. It's just like losing a pet, right? So I'm not too much into gardening now, but I do that, and I like to read. I like to visit temples.
Excellent. I don't know how you find time for all this, but
Yeah, I love temple hopping.
I know from Esther years, it's MS Amma and a lot of
Patama Mami, MLV Amma.
இதெல்லாம் வந்து ஆமா. But in the current generation, who would be your favorite singer?
In the current generation, there are so many who are doing so
சரி, ஏதோ ஒண்ணு.
well. Current generation.
Whose concerts you've been attending?
Vijay Anna, Vijay Shivana is a big inspiration. Yes, sir.
And your co-star also in Trinity.
We've done a program together now. It's going to be premiered on
what is it?
17th of April. We've done something called Tamilisai Thoranam.
Okay.
We've from the Sangam literature up to today, we have covered different eras.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what kind of food do you like to eat? Or street food or Chinese? Or...
Rasam. If you give I always say if you get good rasam sadham, the concert is a success. But I enjoy Italian also.
Italian also. I think there are very few
Cheesy
people now who are, who are not a victim or who are not addicted to pizzas or that kind of cuisine. So, is there anything that you're looking forward to or you're going to find exciting in 2021?
In 2021, I really hope we all find something exciting, especially for musicians. The lockdown has really been bad on musicians. So I really hope it all lifts and concerts start happening and every musician gets an opportunity to come out of this
How
pandemic
good
in the
are you
right way.
in keeping secrets? Somebody tells you a secret, how good are you in keeping it?
I can keep it very well.
Very well?
Yeah.
Okay, I know where to go. So, if we weren't, there have been so many good films where there has been a musical character. For example, MS Amma played Meera. Namadi,
Yeah.
or even a recent fictitious story like Shankarabaranatla. Is there any film which you watched and you felt that is a role I would like to play?
That is a role I would like to, for me, Sound of Music has always been the benchmark in music and the way it was produced in those days, the kind of recording quality, the music in Sound of Music itself. Julia.
Who do you feel you was? I mean, even now, you would have a little bit of a, I wouldn't say fear, கொஞ்சம் ஒரு பயம் மரியாதை, father, mother, husband, father-in-law. I know you're a very devoted daughter-in-law, but
All my gurus, of course, I have great regard for them. Maybe my father.
So, do you have any, quirky things that you do? You do like superstition, or you wear a particular color or anything before your concerts?
I'm a little superstitious about black. I avoid totally black attire for a concert.
For a concert,
Yeah.
but if it's not concert, you don't mind
I
black.
do. I do.
I
I'm
think
not very.
black is
Actually, I'm not superstitious.
I think black is such a awesome,
beautiful-
sexy color.
It
Yeah.
is, it is.
What makes you really like a child? Like, you're very happy, very excited, thrilled. What?
Can you repeat that?
What
What
would you-
makes me like that?
Something like,
Excited childlike. I don't know. I just try to be like that all the time. I try to be happy. I try not to get weighed down by too many things.
okay. So, this is given a chance. Would you like to change anything in your life?
I would change a few things, like the way I approached music. That is what I would like to say. Serious learners of Carnatic music, it's good to learn languages. It's good to learn Telugu, Kannada, Sanskritam, and it's also good to learn instrument when they are young, because all these things come in good state when they want to perform properly and deliver the compositions correctly.
Absolutely. There's no doubt, because you understand it better and you can, நம்ம அதை வந்து அனுபவிச்சு பாடலாம்.
Correct.
Any regrets?
No regrets. I'm sure
Not
God
even-
has a plan.
Not even those 8 years that you missed out?
No, I had a wonderful time in Tirunelveli. There were 4 years of that was in Tirunelveli, and I remember very, very small little things that we did there. I remember it was a beautiful place to be in, and we really had a good time there, next to the Tamarabarani River and part of nature. That's something I really like.
And today, I, as a mother, I realized I gave up I'm not one of those mothers who would like to chat about it, but then, okay, I didn't do this because I was concentrating and focusing on children, but it all, I mean, I'm probably very gifted because I got back it in abundance.
Yeah.
And today, when we remember, I have such good memories.
Yeah.
They may not have, but I have such
Exactly.
wonderful memories
Exactly.
that I can reflect upon, and I can still do what I want to do.
Yes.
It's been wonderful having you on our show.
Same here. I had great fun.
Thank you
Thank
so
you for
much.
inviting me over.
Thank you so much. We look forward to your ACJ CDs and this Trinity. Yes, I'm going to watch it once
ACJ,
more.
many artists have contributed towards building that those episodes, So I hope we can do some more with them, and we can bring about more aspects of music soon.
I'm sure. And there is this is an endless
It is.
ocean. So there are so many more aspects to
It is.
look into.
Certainly.
Thank you, GB.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Namaskar.
So see you next week with one more show of Acharya Chat, same time, same place. This program was brought to you by Liveware, Green Factor Liveware, which is an air deodorizer, sterilizer, and purifier.